Hey there, have you ever felt like a complete fraud in front of your yoga class? Or maybe you haven't even started teaching because you don't feel good enough, thinking things like, who would ever take me seriously? Or I can't even keep my own shit together. And that's the one I thought the most often. And it's something that I hear from a lot of people. Who would take me seriously? I'm not a perfect person. How can I be teaching yoga? So give me a thumbs up if you've ever struggled with any of this so that other yoga teachers know that, hey, they're not alone and neither are you. I'll give you 1 second to do that. So, would you be surprised if I told you that almost all of the newer yoga teachers that I coach have this same insecurity? It's true. I promise you are not alone. I've been there too, and I actually still get there sometimes whenever I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone, teaching something new to me. It's something that really it never goes away. However, we can find tools to overcome it and to work through it a little bit more easily so that we can grow. So, imposter syndrome can manifest in various ways for new yoga teachers. I find that it's often rooted in self doubt and the fear of not being good enough. So, here's some ways that it might show up, and I would love to know in the comments which ways does it sign up for you or show up for you, and it might even be something that's not on this list. So, let me know in the comments how imposter syndrome is showing up for you. All right, so the first one is comparing yourself to other yoga teachers. This could be teachers that you're going to their class. It could be people that you're seeing on social media, but the thing is that we don't really know what these teachers' lives are like, right? It might look perfect from the outside, but just like everybody else that we know, just because things look one way on the surface does not mean that everything's perfect behind the scenes, because guess what? No one is perfect and no yoga teacher is perfect. Okay, so stop comparing yourself to other teachers. If you can try, just start little by little. You're going to have to remind yourself over and over and over of all of these little things because your brain is used to going one way and we got to train it to go the other way, and it can be challenging. I get it, but it just takes practice. It's part of your yoga practice. So think of it that way and it might make it a little bit easier. All right, so the other thing about not comparing yourself to other teachers is that there is no one out there like you. And I know that you probably don't think that you're anything special, but you are. There's nobody out there that can bring the type of yoga, the type of presence that you can bring. All right, so keep that in mind. I promise there is something special about you. You just have to realize what that is. What you could do is you could ask your students, why do you like coming to my yoga classes? Or if you don't have students yet, ask your friends, what is it? What qualities is it about me that draw you to me, that make you want to be around me? And then you can really hone in on those qualities and bring those out in your classes, because that is something that makes you special. All right, number 2 is the fear of making mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but so many newer yoga teachers just worry excessively about giving the wrong cue or saying the wrong alignment thing whenever they mean something else. Like just right there, I didn't say that perfect, but you know what? I'm going to pick up the pieces and I'm going to keep going, right? It's not about being perfect. Your students do not expect you to be perfect. And it's okay to mess up. You just, like I said, pick up the pieces and keep going. No one expects you to be this perfect human being who never makes a mistake. I mean, they want to be able to relate to you, right? So you said left instead of right. And you know what? Some days I'll have days where I just keep messing up and I'm like, you guys just bear with me. It's one of those days, you know how it is. And they're going to be like, yeah, actually, I do know how that is. Thank you for being real, right? All right. So over preparation. I've talked to a lot of my clients and just other yoga teachers that say that they spend so much time preparing for their yoga classes, 3 to 5 to 6 hours a week. Sometimes I've heard even up to 10 hours a week planning their yoga classes. Okay, so if you are spending this much time planning your yoga classes, how are you having a balanced life, right? They come to you because us as yoga teachers, we're using these tools that we have now in our toolbox to bring ourselves into balance and into harmony, right? So we're taking 10 hours or however long, even 3 hours to plan our weekly classes, what about our personal practice? It's kind of really cutting into our time, right? To be doing our yoga practice, our meditation, but spending time with family, cooking healthy food, doing hobbies that you enjoy, things that make you a well-rounded, balanced person. We can look at all of that stuff as yoga and as preparation for our classes, because it's helping us to step into that person that we want to be whenever we step in front of our yoga students. All right. So spend more time doing those things that fill your cup, that nurture you, that bring you into balance. Doubting your qualifications. So there's always more and more trainings we can do, right? And I've seen a lot of people get into this cycle of taking more and more certifications. Now, there's not anything necessarily wrong with that unless it's keeping you from actually getting out there and teaching. And the other thing is that I think that we feel like we need to get all these certifications, like one in sound healing, one in Reiki, one in Yin, one in all these different things, so that we can bring them together to make us special. Again, those things aren't what's going to be the thing that makes you special. It's already within you, right? It's those qualities that are already within you. So how can we bring those out? And as long as you are committed to continuing to learn and to grow, watch YouTube videos on how to teach. I've got a lot on my channel, but also just taking classes. So I've got a lot of just YouTube yoga classes, and there's tons of other teachers that do too, taking different styles and always continuing to learn. Continue reading, read the Bhagavad Gita, read, all of these books on the Yoga Sutras, whatever it is, but follow your heart and what you're interested in. Don't read a book on Sanskrit just because you feel that that's what you need to make you a better teacher, right? So follow your heart, because that's what's going to lead you to your gifts and to your special gifts as a teacher. Number 5, struggling to set boundaries. So in the beginning, we can feel like we need to say yes to everything and just take whatever we can get. But that kind of sets you up for the pattern of doing that for a really long time, a much longer time than you wanted to. So it's really important to try to find the opportunities that will really help you, right? So yeah, you might take a teaching job that pays a little bit less, but it's a really good experience. It's not always about the money, but it's got to even out somehow energetically, right? So make sure that you're really thinking about these things and seeing what you are going to get in return for teaching. You don't have to say yes to everything. Find the things that are a good fit for you, for your schedule, for your family, for everything, because again, we want to stay in balance. If you have to teach a class at 8 p.m. at night and yet you have a toddler at home that you really need to get home to put to bed, you're going to be missing out on that. And so that might throw your family out of balance. So really try to think about what is going to keep you in balance so you can continue to show up as that version of yourself. Most often, right? Of course, as yoga teachers, we fall out of balance sometimes. It just happens, and that's okay too. But we want to try to create a schedule and use our tools that will keep us in balance as much as possible, right? So that whenever we do fall off, we can get back on track quicker. Hesitation to use your own voice. So I think it's easy to kind of parrot our yoga teachers and try to sound just like them or other people that have maybe been successful. And I get that. And I think especially in the beginning, we do that because it's a lot easier, right? And so I'll challenge you to start to bring in a little bit more of your personality and make things a little bit more of your own, maybe every week that you teach, right? Just try something a little bit new or share something a little bit more vulnerable about yourself. Start pushing yourself out of your comfort zone without pushing yourself too far, right? So that you completely freak out, but continuing to challenge yourself and growing. And then, of course, questioning your value. So feeling guilty for charging for classes, thinking again that you're not worth it. Who would listen to me? Why would anyone take me seriously? Right? But you have dedicated yourself to learning about yoga. You've taken at least a 200-hour yoga teacher training. You have spent time, you've taken lots and lots of yoga classes. You have a personal practice. And if you don't start doing those things, really commit to your craft and to this ancient lineage and all of this ancient knowledge that we have access to. Okay. And that'll really, I think, start to help you feel a lot better, because really we can only share what we can embody for it to come across authentically. So if we're trying to share things that are out of our scope or that we don't actually embody yet, people can kind of feel that, right? So trying to find balance in the areas of your life, or get into alignment is another word for that, where you can now, and then you can teach from that place. You can start sharing things about that. Maybe it's having anxiety about being out in public. Maybe it's about it can be all like seasonal affective disorder. I don't know. It could be around all sorts of different things. But as you find balance in those things, that's going to become one of your superpowers. And you know how to do that because you have firsthand experience, right? So again, we all have our superpowers. We just have to uncover them, and it's okay if it takes a little bit of time. I'm still finding mine, but the best way to find your superpowers is, again, ask your students, ask your friends, ask people. They will tell you. So all of those things I just mentioned can make teaching yoga not fun. It can make it super stressful and just make you feel like it's not worth it. And trust me, over time, these behaviors can really create a lot of anxiety, burnout, and overwhelm. But I've also seen many yoga teachers just give up completely. And I do not want that for you, because you do have that special thing that only you can bring to the table. And there's certain people that only you are going to be able to, touch emotionally in that certain way. And there's no such thing as a perfect yoga teacher, okay? There's just no such thing. People might try to tell you that there is, but there's not, okay? You do not have to be perfect. Trust me, I am not perfect, and my yoga students, they know that. But that's one of the reasons why they trust me, is because they know that I'm human just like them, and we're all on this healing journey together. So no matter what your ego continues to try to tell you, students don't want a perfect yoga teacher, okay? They want someone that they can relate to, that makes them feel good enough, that makes them feel welcome and safe and accepted in their classes. Students don't think that they can ever get close to being perfect. So if you're perfect, it's unrelatable, it's unattainable. But if you're a real life human being who's been through some shit and has gotten some tools to get back into balance, they're going to respect that, and they are going to really appreciate your authenticity, and that will draw students to you. So it will take practice, because it's a hard thing for the ego to swallow. So you're going to have to put it in the back seat a little bit when it starts saying that stuff to you, and again, start rewiring your brain. So now I want to give you 5 more of my top tips for overcoming imposter syndrome to really help get you on your way to stepping into the yoga teacher that you want to be, that confident yoga teacher. So number 1 is embrace lifelong learning, and just understand we're all on a journey together. I don't know everything about yoga. I certainly don't, but I try to follow my passions and really lean into those things that I'm interested in. Again, that keeps me authentic. It keeps me inspired in my own practice and in my teaching. Okay, so take trainings, take workshops, start investing in your career. This is a career, it's a profession. So really start focusing on making it a career. Number 2 is focus on service, not perfection. What are you offering in your yoga classes? We're not getting up on stage and performing for our yoga students, okay? Instead, what we're doing is we're creating an offering, and we're holding space for them to feel a little bit better than when they walked in. Okay, that's it. You are not performing anything. You're holding space. That little shift can help a lot. Okay, start to celebrate. Number 3, start to celebrate your small wins. So if you had a class where you didn't mess up the Sanskrit for Virabhadrasana 1, congratulate yourself for that. Maybe at the end of the day, write down all the things that you're proud of, especially on the days that you taught, but maybe even other things that you're proud of yourself for doing. Hey, somebody cut me off, and in the past I would have flipped them off and yelled or whatever, but this time I kind of got a higher perspective, and I was like, well, maybe they're going through something, right? That's your yoga off the mat. And those are things you can also bring into your classes and share as relatable experiences and how yoga has helped you. All right. Number 4 is to seek community support. So find other yoga teachers that you feel comfortable with, either in your community or in community like mine, my Facebook group, the Yoga and Mindfulness community. That's a wonderful place to be. Or get some one-on-one coaching like with me. Sign up for a 300-hour yoga teacher training like mine, or another one that resonates with you. Find your people that make you feel safe and accepted and welcomed, because that's going to help you to really grow, because you'll be able to be more vulnerable and really explore those parts of you that need to be looked at. Okay, and the last one, number 5, is to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself as you navigate your teaching journey. Mistakes are going to happen. I've made so many mistakes, but from that comes growth. If you let that mistake just totally throw you off your center and then you give up, you're not going to grow from it, right? Being a yoga teacher is a huge catalyst for growth, right? It's such a huge opportunity. So use it as such. It's been amazing in my life. I don't know where I would be if I hadn't had yoga, specifically teaching yoga. It's taught me so much. So there you have it. Those are my top tips for overcoming imposter syndrome and how it might show up in your life. So start to realize that maybe if that's what's making you do certain things or stay away from certain things, and make a commitment to overcoming it. So let me know, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments how you plan to overcome this. What do you plan to start doing so that you can really commit to yourself? I notice if we write things down, it kind of like makes the statement to the universe, and it makes us more accountable, right? So let me know in the comments, because your ideas might really resonate with other people even more than my ideas do. All right, so thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching it on YouTube, leave those comments. It really helps out other yoga teachers, and it helps out my videos and my channel, my little channel, to grow. Thank you so much for being here, whether it was on the podcast or YouTube. Go to crystalgrayyoga.com if you want to check out my upcoming 300-hour yoga teacher training. It's virtual and in person, so you could do either or a mix of both, as well as my retreats. All right, yogi, have an amazing day, and I will see you later. Bye.